Welcome to DIY and Depression. I don't know what order this will end up in. This is the second video I'm recording. Um, we'll see if it's the second one I post or the third, but it's been really interesting that I had intended to originally talk second about why I love DIY and why I'm so passionate about it, and I'm still going to do that, obviously, but ironically, starting this has been the final trigger for a huge bout of anxiety and depression. So it's kind of timely that we're going to talk about that now. I got to thinking, honestly, I thought I was getting sick, and it, not a shock, but I'm pretty sure it's just stress. And I was trying to think of why, and then I had to make a list. Because there's a lot going on right now. My current job, my day job, I'm not making enough to get by. Just not. And so I've been looking for another job. I really like my current job and the people there, but it's been eating into my savings, and so that just can't go on. Just that by itself is enough to really set off my my anxieties from past history and things like that. Yeah, the new job, there's some things out there. It's a very stressful thing to look for a new job, and who knows if the new things are going to be as copacetic, as easy to work with as the old one has been for the things that I really want to do, like this. So there's that. Like I said, starting this series, putting myself out there like this and talking about things is not where I'm most comfortable. But, if I'm going to do what I want to do, it's all going to be scary. So this year is all about doing the things that scare me. That's a good thing, but it's also scary and stressful. So there's that. And I'm looking at a list. I made a list. I've got a really cool charity gig coming up that I'm playing drums for that's going to be a lot of fun, but it's also, I want to do well, and it's a chance to interact with people. Interacting with people, I'm an introvert, and so that's all pretty scary. Or not scary, but stressful, and I want to do well, on a minimum number of rehearsals, and so I'm really anxious about that. The band that I'm part of, we've got a lot going on, a lot coming up. There's gigs coming up. We're trying to promote that band, get more gigs, potentially record new music, release the first album that we already did that we're getting ready to release. I'm planning on really soon trying to sell some really basic merchandise, which is also kind of scary because, once again, I'm putting myself out there. My designs, are people going to take it seriously? Yes, worried about what people think. I'm, through all this, I'm trying to, the whole point, write and record some new music. I would love to have another EP out by mid-year. That's my goal. So I'm working on that. I want the new stuff to hopefully, at least some of it, include vocals, which means learning to record vocals. I haven't recorded vocals before. I've just started. It's an entirely different process than doing the instruments. So there's a huge learning curve there. So there's that. Actually recording decent vocals of myself. I started a new playlist of North Carolina metal and rock bands because there's not really one out there, and there needs to be. So, I want to do that. So I'm curating that and trying to promote that and get not only myself, but all these other bands, more attention, more listens on Spotify, more followers, that kind of thing. And just the promotion and social media interaction. I'm an introvert, and interacting with people is good and positive and fucking exhausting. And so I have worked myself to the point of just about breaking down. And, you know, so that's really what I wanted to talk about in this video, is for people with anxiety disorders who have depression, especially people who are introverts. If you don't know, anxiety disorders pretty much come out of an overactive amygdala. That's a little part way deep in the brain that we share with even much more primal creatures, lizards. A lot of people call it the lizard brain. And it's what controls our fight or flight response. You know, when we feel like we're in danger, it sets off the waves of hormones that get us ready to either fight for our life or run for our life. Now, the amygdala, it doesn't know from social or, you know, non-physical stressors. All it knows is stress, and we got to do something. And so people with anxiety disorders tend to have an overdeveloped, overactive amygdala, where it's actually physically larger than quote-unquote normal. And so that's been pretty much on for me for the last, from one reason and another, just ongoing, and all the pressure that I'm putting on myself about all this, you know, a good 6 to 8 months straight. And so is it any surprise that I'm reaching my limit? And for me, and I suspect for other people with depression, this is what leads to depression. My brain just finally breaks down. I'm an overactive amygdala, and all the stress hormones that go on with that hurt the brain physically. And depression is a way for the brain to go, fuck this, I'm done, and start to shut down, because you need a break. It's not really a healthy way, but it's like the last resort kind of thing. Now, I also want to say that I'm not complaining. It may sound like I'm complaining. I am not complaining, because I am super lucky. I am super fortunate, and I'm aware of how lucky I am, and I'm really super grateful, because I have an immense level of support. I have a partner who supports me. I have a family that supports me. You know, they live in a different city, but their emotional support is there. Their physical support is there. They're going to come up, some of them, to see me play this weekend at this gig, you know, and that means a lot. I've got family, I've got friends. I have been in a position to have enough money to get the things I needed to start this whole endeavor. So, I mean, have my own choices played into that? Sure. But, you know, there's no way to discount everything that I've been given, you know, that I didn't necessarily earn, that I've just been fortunate to receive. And so I never forget that. It doesn't make the stress any less, because the stress is a physical reaction. Now, I can have some control over that reaction to a certain point, and any of us with anxiety or depression can, but it's a concrete physical thing that happens. And so you can be, if this is you, you can be aware of how fortunate you are, and also be depressed to the point that you want everything to end. Those can coexist. What I'm here to say is that there are ways forward, and there are ways forward for me. For example, doing this video is helping a lot, you know, and you know, I've also realized in a concrete way that it is now time for me to start looking for some outside help. And in this particular juncture, I think that's just as simple as it's time for me to start scheduling my time. It's time for me to start making lists and plans and taking certain things off my plate at certain times so I can concentrate on more immediate stuff. And then already having scheduled a time forward, it's like, okay, now it's time to do this bit, and now it's time to do this bit, and now it's time to do this bit. My partner told me something really super important that I have written down. I want to say out loud here, and I'm gonna write it down everywhere I can. Right now, as I'm doing this, I'm going to read it. It's just as important to challenge the stories I tell myself as I do the work as it is to do the work itself. I can do the work, and I'm going to keep doing the work. I have to do the work. I've realized that. I have no, this is just me. It's what I got to do. But if I don't also challenge the stories that I'm used to telling myself that got repeated inside my brain for all the years I've been alive, the stories that I'm not good enough, that I suck, that everything I do is going to turn to shit, that I may as well give up now because it's no fucking use. These are the stories that I tell myself. I don't mean to. Science has found out that these are actually neural connections in our brain, that these are memories that every time we think it over and over and over again, it strengthens those connections physically. And so what I have to do is challenge that. In a physical sense, I have to create new pathways. I have to find some detours. These are ruts in the road that I keep falling into. And so I need to find another path that's still going to take me where I need to go. So that's pretty much it for this one. I hope anybody that watches this finds it of use. If you're in a dark place right now, there are people here for you. Contact me. Maybe I can't do anything myself. Maybe I can get you in touch with somebody that can. It's a real thing. If you're hurting, it's real. I'm hurting right now, and it's real. But there are ways forward. So let me know, and let me know what you think, and thanks.